Hello everyone, I am Wawi Team Lamdag from BSed English 2A. Today, I will be discussing two different broad topics. You better brace yourself. Okay, let's start. So what can you see in the picture? Alright, children. Children with disability or a person with disabilities. So now, let us define on what is person with disability. So when we say persons with disability are those suffering from restrictions or different abilities as a result of mental, physical, sensory impairment to perform an activity in a manner or within the range considered normal for a human being. So those persons or children or adults who have these different restrictions, different abilities, they are considered as persons with disability. So now, just for a quick trivia guys, in support of the implementation of Republic Act 7277 or the Magna Carta for disabled persons, and to achieve the target set for the Asian and Pacific Decade of Disabled Persons since 1993 to 2002, that 75% of the 4 million children, so guys kindly take note because these will be included in the exam later on. So 75% of the 4 million children with disabilities should be provided educational opportunities, special needs. Education shall be institutionalized in all schools. Next is the institutionalization aims to provide access to basic education among children with special needs, namely the gifted, the talented, the mentally retarded, or the visually impaired, the children with behavior problems, those who have hearing impaired. So those are PWDs that are included in those in 75% of the 4 million children that are provided of equal education. So another one, inclusive education for children and youth with disabilities. There are 1.4 million persons with disability that comprise 1.57 of the 92.1 million Philippine population since 2010, see page, and 1 of 20% PWDs are school-age children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 years. Of whom children aged 10 to 14 years, there are 7.2% that constitute the largest proportion across the different age groups. So, take note guys, we have 1.4 millions and 1.57%, then 92.1 million, the 20%, the ages 10 to 14 years old, we have 7.2%. So, let us talk about what is Republic Act 9442, or also known as Magna Carta for Person with Disabilities. So just for a quick trivia guys, we have Republic Act 7277, or also known as the Magna Carta for PWDs, was established during the administration of the late Cory Aquino and has two amendments. When we say amendments guys, minor changes occurs. So we have there, the first one is Republic Act 9442. It was established on the administration of the ex-president Gloria Arroyo, and Republic Act 10754 established during the administration of ex-president Ninoy Aquino. So now guys, let us focus on Republic Act 9442 under Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. So now guys, let us define first what is Magna Carta for PWDs under Republic Act 9442. Alright. So when you say Republic Act 9442, it is an act amending Republic Act number 7277, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons. And here guys, in Republic Act 9442, there will be a purposes, granting additional privileges and incentives and prohibitions on verbal and non-verbal ridicule and vilification against person with disability. So these things guys is under the Republic Act 9442, the granting of additional privileges, the incentives, and the prohibitions, the like bullying, the ridicule, so that is under Republic Act 9442. And when we say Republic Act number 7277, it is an act providing for rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance of persons with disabilities and their integration into the mainstream society, and for other benefits. But today, we will just focus on Republic Act 9442. So, the purpose of these guys are promulgated to prescribe the procedures and guidelines for the implementation of Republic Act number 9442 in order to facilitate compliance therewith and to achieve the objectives. And these rules shall be construed and applied in accordance with and in furtherance of the policies and objectives of the law. In case of doubt, the same shall be construed liberally and in favor of person with disability. So this is the purpose and construction in rule number 1. And since our topic is mainly focused on the legal basis of special education, so in chapter 8, the other privileges and incentives, we will not go deeper, guys, about the other privileges, those 20% discounts in any industries, restaurants, but we will just focus on the educational privileges that can be found on chapter 8. Alright, so in educational privileges, guys, educational assistance to person with disability for them to pursue primary, secondary, tertiary, and post-tertiary, as well as vocational or technical education in both public and private schools through the provision of scholarships. So, as you can see in the picture, guys, the scholarships, the grants, the financial aids, subsidies, and other incentives to qualified person with disability. So, those things, guys, will be benefited or for those person with disabilities under the educational privileges. And also, including support of books, learning materials, and uniform allowance to the extent feasible. So those are the things, guys, that our dear PWDs will receive. And another is provided that persons with disability shall meet minimum admission requirements to set by the Department of Education or the DepEd, Commission on Higher Education Department or the CHED, Technical Educational and Skills Development Authority, and other entities engaged in the grant of scholarship and financial assistance for education of persons with disability. So it means, guys, DepEd, CHED, TESDA, the educational privileges are applicable in DepEd, CHED, and TESDA for those persons with disabilities. And another one, for the purpose of this rule, primary education shall include nursery and kindergarten with whether in private or public school. So if your children, of your brothers and sisters are in nursery, in kindergarten, whether in private or public school, they are qualified to benefit the educational privileges that is intended for our person with disabilities. So the source of funding in addition to the private education, student financial assistance or PESFA, funds scholarship for the implementation of the above shall be the 1%. So in PESFA, guys, there will be 1% scholarship for the implementation of the above fund, or 1% allocation for person with disability in DepEd, CHED, TESDA, and other training and educational government agencies as required by General Appropriation Act, subject to the guidelines issued by the DepEd, CHED, and TESDA. So those are the following incentives, the privileges that may get or that may receive from our dear person with disabilities. So now, let us move to Rule 5, the prohibitions on verbal, non-verbal ridicule and vilification against person with disability. So, here guys, in the prohibition, we can see the section 7, chapter 1, the deliverance from public ridicule. So when we see public ridicule is defined as an act of making fun or contemptuous imitating. So imitating, that is what we call a public ridicule. Or making mockery of persons with disabilities, whether in writing or in words, in action due to impairment. So for example, the brother is physically impaired. Nag-wheelchair na siya, guys. So, public ridicule exists if someone who will imitate the actions or try to bully your brother or your sister. So, that is what we call public ridicule. Contemptuous imitating or making mockery, whether in writing or in words, in action due to impairment. So, that is ridicule. And that is punishable by law. So, you better, guys, avoid that behavior. Next one is section 8, the chapter 2, the deliverance from vilification. So, the utterance of slanderous, abusive statements against person with disability. So, those statements or those words that may offend or person with disability. So, that is what we call vilification. It is an activity in public which incites hatred towards serious contempt for severe ridicule of persons with disabilities, or should I say bullying. So guys, let's stop bullying for all as a one way of helping our PWDs, since our PWDs, guys, are prone to this, or should I say are the target to this kanang problem, the bullying and the ridicule. So I encourage everyone to please avoid this kind of behavior. Alright, so that is for our under Republic Act 9442, the Magna Carta for person with disabilities, the incentives, the privileges that they will get. So now, guys, so as you can see, guys, I also included the section 3, section 46 of Republic Act number 7277. So in section 46, the penal clause.